Welcome to Art Talk Tuesday, episode 43. Here we are on our 43rd episode, if you can believe it. I want to thank you all again who have been tuning in, checking in, commenting, liking. It is greatly appreciated. If you're getting something from these videos, please share them with a friend. If you have a friend who's interested in yoga or some other types of spiritual practice, please send them my way. So our piece for today is in the asana series that we started with a new model here. So remember, each model has three pieces or three poses taken with that model. And so we are on the model Maureen. Maureen is also with Black to Yoga. She's actually one of my favorite instructors. One of the things that makes her my favorite is that she is a deeply spiritual person, and she really tries to incorporate this whole notion of spirituality into her yoga practice, into what she's teaching, and into the way she goes about it, her approach. So I really appreciate Maureen and what she brings to the table in terms of really connecting spirituality with the experience of yoga. So, having said that, this image is 20 inches wide by 16 inches high. The pose is called half moon pose. In the Sanskrit, that is often referred to as Ardha Chandrasana. And so here we have a very different palette. I did something, wanted to kind of go out there a little bit on this palette, so I kind of used some colors that you don't normally see. Try to do something a little different, a little bit more exciting with this palette. Not quite sure in my own mind whether I achieved it or not, but I give myself an A for at least going for it. So as you see, the color palette here, we got some light green, some kind of a lambish green, apple green, some blues. Then we go into some, actually this is not purple, it's more like, can't think of the name right now, but it'll come to me. So it's in the purple family, okay? Then we've got some orange here, some red, some orange. And so this half moon pose is considered to be a balancing pose, as if you couldn't tell. Also, it opens up the hips, because what you're really looking at here is her hips are completely stacked one upon the other. She doesn't have her legs bent. Her hips are completely stacked one over the other. So it opens the hip, extending the legs. You can see it's also a chest and heart opening pose because she's back with her arm out extended. So it works on the shoulders, stretching out the shoulders, strengthens the neck, as you can see. She's looking up towards this hand here is what she's doing. So even though her feet and her hand are planted down, legs extended out, so we got good extension here. The hand, the eyes are actually looking up towards this, the palms of this hand here, which he has upturned. And so she's really strong, grounding pose. So I wanted to give a sense of her strength, because you really have to be pretty strong to do this pose. It doesn't seem like it, but once you actually get bent over that way and try to keep the hips open, it can go bad for you very easily, and you can fall down. Particularly if you don't have a good drishti. We talked about the whole idea of your drishti, your point of focus. Where is your point of focus going? You can easily fall out of this pose. I've done it many times, believe me. So if you're not concentrated, it takes a lot of strength, just a lot of focus to remain balanced in this particular way, particularly when you're not looking down at the ground, but you're looking up at this hand here. So if you start getting tired and your hand starts to quiver, that can also throw off your focus, which could also make you lose balance in this pose. So really fun pose. This is actually one of Maureen's favorite poses, so I enjoyed taking this photo of her. You can see, once again, I wanted to get a sense of the good grounding, particularly with this pose, because the grounding is so important, because it's from this grounding that everything else flows. And I want to get the sense of this leg really extending, pushing out. So you can see I've got a very interesting angle here. It's kind of a 3/4 angle, but not quite 3/4. And so I wanted to show the straightness of the figure here, hands extending. So we've got all this extension, shoulders, arms extending, legs extending, even though they're in different directions, hips out. And then this unilome here that I created is just my own kind of creation, playing around with the whole idea, the notion of fractals. So you can see the little fractal points that I've kind of played around with here. It didn't need to be the exact, just trying to give a feel for it. And then there's going into the squiggle here. So we got this kind of more geometric thing going on, a little slightly more geometric. Then we move down into something here which is much more biomorphic and much more loose. And then on top of that, we see we've got the deep shadow here. I wanted to draw this shadow, just playing around with it. It's not really exact to what this would look like, but I wanted to play with the idea of pushing this motion, because up here, we've got the energy moving here, and it'll move out, but also thrust out this way. So I also wanted to send something at the bottom of the composition to kind of move that same energy along this way, because we get this in this thing here, right, where the eye is traveling around, traveling down, across, traveling across, up and back. So I wanted to kind of keep that energy moving. Without this shadow extending out here, it was looking very flat. You get a lot of emphasis over here moving out, but then there's nothing really out here to kind of hold the eye. So I purposely drew the shadow. I was just playing with it. You can see this is supposed to be the kind of the leg here, just moving around with it, trying to make some things different and make the whole composition work. So the figure is grounded there. Set it back. Then we got this bright green background, right? Bright green background, really pushing that out because you know the lighter colors want to come forward, and I've still got these more darker tones. Even the orange I've kind of muted back with some purple and a little bit of gray, just in order to kind of push it back. So we've got this background extending forward with this sense of flat here on the floor surface, the grounding surface, and then we've got all these other things going in the body. So I want to play around with that kind of push and pull. I made actually emphasize some of the muscles a lot more in this particular pose because I wanted to give that aspect of strength more so than some of the others. And so that's what we've got with this one. Thank you for tuning in. This piece is valued at $1,000 in the original. Have prints available for $35 and up. You can get them off my website, DamonPowell.com. God bless you. Peace.